And here we go. All right, I kind of screwed up there. Let's try this again. And once again, I screwed up. Hold on, guys. Sorry. It's been one of those days. I know you guys can fill me out. Right, here we go.
Coming to you from the Black Swan Media Studios, this is Fireside Chats, talking to the real difference makers in the world. Now, here is your host, John Crump.
All right, everyone, this is better. We are now working. We are broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, D-Live, Twitter, Twitch, and everywhere else where you can get everything. Plus, tomorrow we'll be on every podcast provider. All right, my name is John Crump. I am the Virginia Director of Gun Owners of America. I am also an investigative journalist with MLN.com, the best damn website on the planet. Today, we are brought to you by Tusk. Tusk is the only gun-friendly cryptocurrency on the market. And that's when I'm doing bad today.
Proudly sponsored by TUSC, the only cryptocurrency designed with the firearms market in mind, with 3-second processing times. It's the fastest cryptocurrency on the planet. With lower transaction fees than traditional credit cards. It's perfect for your e-commerce needs. For gun guys, by gun guys. Visit TUSC.network for more information and join the digital revolution.
Okay, and we're not only brought to you by Tusk, but we also brought to you by Black Swan Tactical. Black Swan Tactical is where you can get some really cool gear at.
Black Swan Tactical, your number one source for 2A streetwear. With shirts, mugs, hats, patches, flags, and more. There's always something to help you rep the 2A community. All proceeds go back into our projects. Viewers and listeners can take an additional 10% off with code CRUMPY. Unapologetically pro-gun, pro-liberty, and pro-freedom gear for the front lines of the culture war.
And of course, I have a Patreon where you can get cool gear, awesome perks, and help support this channel and my news channel and all the investigative journalism I do. And that is at patreon.com/John Crump. Okay, now let's bring on our guest. Our guest is an actor, executive producer, and director of an upcoming movie. It's called Permafrost. Let's introduce him. And his name is Lenni. Hi, Lenni.
Hey guys.
Yeah, sorry. Today's been kind of crazy.
You got those days sometimes.
Yeah. So before we get started, what I want to do, I want to take a look at Permafrost, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about it. So I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Having these dreams before when the world made more sense to me. And then other times
Mama told me not to talk to mean, bad people like you.
Every faction is scouring the lands looking for this little girl, and you just happen to have her. Drop the gun! Your gulag friends slaughtered my family.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, it was pretty intense filming it too.
Yeah, tell us what is the movie about?
So it's about a bounty hunter in this post-apocalyptic world where solar flares have kind of it burnt up part of the world, and then the sun in that process weakened, so the Earth is kind of frozen over in this permanent snow. So permafrost is where that name came from. But the bounty hunter is just living life, and he kind of isn't making the right decisions, and then he kind of goes on this redemption path as he saves this little girl.
That is pretty cool. You wrote the movie. What inspired you to write the movie?
I personally love post-apocalyptic sci-fi, and so that is the thing I like to watch, and so I make what I like to watch.
Yeah, that's what I like. I mean, I like that too. I'm really big into post-apocalyptic movies, like Book of Eli is like one of my favorite
Oh yeah,
movies of all time. Yeah, I love that. Spoiler alert: he's blind.
yeah, no kidding.
What I like about Book of Eli is when I went back and watched it, there's so many things to show that he's blind, but you miss it the first time.
hmm Yeah, there's just a ton of little like small things there, but when you watch it, you just think he's totally normal guy, just surviving. But,
Now, what made you decide to make a movie?
uh, really, it was kind of like COVID was going on, and I hadn't done a feature film yet, and I'd done a lot of short films, which is like short time frame, I guess is the best way to describe a short film. And so I'd done a lot of short films. I have a series called WROL series, which is also post-apocalyptic, but that kind
What's
of
it
goes
called?
WROL, like without rule of law. So a
Uh-huh.
lot of preppers are familiar with that term, and we've got a good amount of people that have watched that. There's one called Bug Out, which has like over 500,000 views, and it's on YouTube. But so I've done a lot of all this other filmmaking and kind of like learning and figuring stuff out. And so I was like, I want to do a feature film now. I feel like we're ready for it. All the stuff that's been made so far, I feel is very cinematic. And so um, if you make it cinematic in the short world, why not make a feature film, a full length film, and make it just as good? So that's kind of where that's going.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really cool. It was filmed in Utah.
Yep, in Utah. We've got some really great like forests and stuff out there. Like places we went to go and shoot were just up in the mountains, and it was blizzarding a lot of the time. So we had like real snow falling down. None of this fake crap that Hollywood puts in all their films. Um, just very raw.
Yeah, yeah. Rob McNeely, who is a great friend of the show, and he's actually a sponsor. Network is right below where we're talking at. He was involved in the movie, and he was posting stuff on Instagram and stuff like that with pictures from the scenes and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool to see a little bit behind the scenes. And he's been telling me how great this movie is going to be. So he's a massive supporter of you, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm a big supporter of him as well. He's a very talented guy. So.
Yeah. So, you wrote the movie because you like post-apocalyptic stuff and you like to write post-apocalyptic stuff, and stuff that you like. Are you familiar with the old YouTuber named Freddie W. Rocket Jump?
I am familiar.
Yeah,
I subscribed throughout the time that they existed, and now they're like Rocket Jump, and they don't do as many little shorts and stuff now, but
yeah.
they've kind of gone bigger.
I watched the old interview with him and Brandon Lash, who used to be his partner,
Mhm.
and they were talking about going through film school. And the reason why they were making the short films that they were is because they liked them. They were talking about how they were in film school and people were like bashing Transformers, and they're like, "Yeah, well, who would watch a movie with giant robots and stuff?" And
Mhm.
they're talking about how they were sitting there both like, "Well, we would."
Yeah, a big population would. That's why
Yeah,
they've got like I don't know how many they've made now, but they've made a lot of, you know.
yeah. But their point was the film industry is a little bit snobbish.
Mhm.
Or
Oh yeah.
do you
Yeah.
find that to be true?
There's definitely a more artistic crowd out there in the film community. I would say the indie film community, they're much more artistic. And Transformers is more like entertainment. It's not like artistic. There's no like secret message that's behind it. It's usually pretty straightforward explosions and robots fighting and blowing things up. That's kind of what Transformers is. And I think there's definitely a lot of people that just want to go and be entertained. And so that's what that is. It entertains and it probably makes money as well. But
Yeah.
if it didn't make money, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Michael Bay always does explosions, and he's not my favorite director, but
You know?
he like they asked him one time, "Why do you make all these explosions in your movie?" And he's like, "I like explosions." So when you said you made the
Those are
movie
cool.
about post-apocalyptic stuff because you like post-apocalyptic stuff, it made me think of those two examples
Yeah. No,
of the Freddie W. and Michael Bay.
I definitely like. I've done a good amount of bushcraft and survival, and I'm kind of the mindset of the prepper mindset. So that kind of like starts to feed into the stuff that I like to tell stories about. So like you kind of get a little bit of that in there, and that's kind of why.
How long did it take you to write the movie?
It was a few months. It wasn't too long. I mean, COVID was started like February-ish. I want to say it was a little bit after that because I did like a little short film during COVID, and then like it was like, okay, well, let's do a film during winter because winter's actually a time when no one makes films here in Utah. It usually kind of just dies, like literally no one's doing anything. So I was like, well, let's go do something. Like, let's make a film. We'll go shoot in the snow. Well, best way to describe it, Mad Max meets The Revenant is what this film is kind of similar to, and that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah, so you wrote it, produced it, and filmed it all like within a year, which is
Yeah,
an
we are.
insane timeline.
Yeah, it was a lot of work too. Don't don't get me wrong. We didn't have a big Hollywood budget to hire a bunch of people, so a lot of the time, many people were doing lots of things that usually they don't have to on this Hollywood film. So it's a lot of passionate people that have worked on this project and made it what it is.
Have you worked on any other big films?
I was a featured extra in some big film back when I just had started. It was on Netflix called Small Town Crime. That was kind of fun. Got to throw around the main actor and stuff. Other than that, it's mostly been stuff that's been happening locally in Utah. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any big ones other than that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How did you find all the actors and everything to be in it? Um,
So a lot of them are friends that I've met over my entire film career, I guess I could call it. And it kind of makes it easy when you're writing if you know actors who you have in mind for those roles, because you can kind of write them in a way that that person would act it. And so then casting them is very easy, and they don't have to do a lot more than be themselves and play the role. So having like 5 years of actor people to pull on that I've just because I've done acting myself, so I've taken acting classes with people in Utah, multiple acting classes here, and met lots of people, and that's kind of where that pool of people, those talented actors that are in it, have come from.
is there a big film community in Utah?
Oh, it's big, it's huge. There's some Facebook groups that have like I want to say it has over almost 20,000 people in them, and that's just the people that are in the Facebook groups. Some people don't use Facebook, so but it's a big acting community. I don't know if you're familiar with Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a good amount of actors who are in that, they were cast from Utah because Yellowstone was initially being filmed in Utah for up until season 3, I think it was, and then season 4 went to Montana, I want to say, and then now they're still in Montana. But yeah, there's a big acting community here.
Yeah. Where can people watch Permafrost? Is it out yet? When is it coming out? When's the
It's not
release
out yet.
date?
It's still in post production, so we still have editing we're doing as well as getting like composed music and sound finalized with the film. And when it is out, we'll probably it depends on what distribution we end up getting, but for sure it's going to be on Amazon, so it'll be viewable there, and possibly on Apple. It just depends what platforms we end up putting it on. The major ones is what we'd like to do. There's the possibility that we also put it towards like festivals, and that could slow it down a little bit because if we send it to Sundance, then you can't actually have it on a viewable platform until Sundance has shown it. So that's also just all
Yeah.
depends. Right at the moment, we're kind of like fluid. It's not sure like what the solid plan is just yet, which route we're going. But if you go to Sundance, it usually means distribution. Someone buys it and then they put it out into theaters and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Swamp Dog Armory says he's planning on working on a 3D project with you. I don't know if
Yes,
you've seen his stuff. It's his 3D stuff.
yes, he has talked to me on Instagram a good amount. So we are in contact.
Yeah. His 3D stuff is really, really cool.
Yep.
I was down in Georgia with him, and he has a 3D tablet that you don't need glasses.
I would love to see that. That would actually be kind of cool.
I mean, it's really cool. It reminds you of like the Iron Man hologram stuff.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's it's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was showing it to me. It's like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's kind of some futuristic stuff, but definitely a sci-fi film could use some of that. You know?
Yeah. They're gonna have some interesting sci-fi films coming out.
Mhm.
I know that they're planning on filming one partially in space.
In space?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a Tom Cruise movie.
That guy's nuts, man. He just like he does all his stunts, like jumps out of like a Halo whatever airplane, a Halo drop or whatever, and I don't know. He's good. He's gonna hurt himself one of these days. Well, or he has, but like hopefully not worse.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, he is going. It's gonna be. It's a joint venture between Tom Cruise and Elon Musk.
Oh, really? No way.
Yes,
Okay.
so
I
he's
guess Elon
contracted
Musk
out with.
has the X space stuff going, so
Yeah,
or
uh,
SpaceX, I should say, not X space.
yeah, and Jim Bernstein. I don't know who that is.
Not familiar.
Oh, he's a NASA guy.
Okay.
So I guess he's he's NASA administrator. So it's going to be NASA, Elon Musk, and Tom Cruise, and it's going to be filmed partially on the
Wow.
International Space Station.
That's gonna be crazy. Like, yeah, everything very realistic. I mean, it'll be cool because it'll be like real space, gravity and stuff. Like all the fake ones are like decent that are in most films, but yeah.
Yeah, Country Gungar Gal says the 3D stuff is definitely something you want to see with in real life with your own eyes, and I agree with that because
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen 3D stuff with glasses, but this is insane.
Hmm.
I
That would
really
be
like it.
cool to see. I I'd be down to see it. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. So, how'd you get involved with Rob McNeely of Tusk?
Rob actually connected with an actor that I know, from Glenn Morshower's class. Glenn Morshower, he's an actor you've probably seen in every single film. He's like usually the general, like in Transformers. He's the general.
What's his name?
Glenn Morshower.
Okay.
So he taught a class for actors in Utah for, I don't know, it was like almost 2 years or something. But Rob had gone there and met this guy that I had met. And so we ended up getting connected through that connection. And me and him talked mostly about like acting and then Tusk and then filmmaking for Tusk. And then like Rob wanted to also be involved with making this feature film. And so we've been heavily, he's one of the EPs as well on Permafrost, and he's been helping a ton, and it's been great working with him.
Yeah, I pulled up that guy's acting list, and it's insane.
Yeah, he's like the general in every film. Like they've typecast him as the general. It's always the general.
I mean, I'm scrolling through, and from like 1976 to now, it's just movie after movie after movie.
Yeah, no, he's
he has 230 acting credits.
He's a busy guy.
He has he has 5 movies coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He's a very cool guy. He gives like positive motivational speeches to like big companies and stuff like that. He's just got a very good outlook on life and whatnot, which is very nice to have that, I guess. And he would do a lot of that discussion in his classes as well about that sort of thing.
Yeah. So Rob is into acting?
Yeah. Rob has done some acting classes as well. He's dabbled in quite a bit of that. And then now he's been dabbling a lot in filmmaking as well while we've been making the film, learning a lot of things about camera and just everything filmmaking, really.
What isn't Rob involved in?
Rob is super multi-talented.
He seems to be involved in everything, man.
I think he's done like everything too. It's not just that he's involved with everything. He's done a lot of stuff. Like he just knows a lot. He's a welder. I mean, like it's like welded his mailbox at his house and his fireplace. He welded his whole fireplace, and it's like insanely well done too. Like whatever he does, he usually does it very well.
Yeah, he does. He's a really cool guy. I got to hang out with him like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, was that at the that YouTube gun event?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw some video of that. It looked fun.
Yeah, a lot of machine guns, a lot of cool people out there.
Yeah.
I was out there for Gun Owners of America.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really fun. So you're into prepping a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd say I prep to an extent. I'm not crazy. I mean, I've got guns, I've got ammo, I've got your tactical body armor and kit, and then some food storage and whatnot. Like I said, not as crazy as some people, but I do my dabbling in it as well. I think it's good to be prepared, like even just a little.
Yeah, I mean it is. COVID has taught a lot of people about that.
Mm-hmm.
With all the shortages and stuff like that. I have tons of toilet paper. I'm kind of a prepper myself. And everyone used to give me a hard time about having all this toilet paper until they could not get toilet paper. Then the same people who used to give me a hard time about having all this toilet paper, like, hey, you got any toilet paper I could borrow? I'm like, nope.
Right. Yeah, no, after COVID, I had toilet paper. I didn't have to buy any for I didn't have to buy toilet paper for quite some time.
Nope.
Like a whole year.
Yeah, I mean, I had the toilet paper, I had the hand sanitizer, I had the mask and everything. I'm like,
right.
It's like, and people are running around with like chickens with their heads cut off, and I was just sitting back being like, I got it all. What? Yeah, it's It's really funny. What type of cameras did you use the red cameras in the filming or?
Yeah, so for Permafrost, we shot on the Red Komodo, which is actually a brand new one that Red has released. And it's actually really hard to buy them now because of the shortages that have been happening because of COVID. I'm not sure familiar with all the transistor or whatever shortages.
Yeah,
It's like
tons.
I think it's like 3 months or something. There's a wait list for a Red Komodo now, and which is nuts, like if I hadn't bought they have like their first line of cameras that go out called Stormtroopers, and they're all white. And so if I hadn't bought that, we wouldn't even have had one of those to shoot this. Um,
Yeah, for people who don't know, red is like the Ferrari of cinematic film cameras.
I would say it's like one of them because
One of them, yeah.
there's Alexas, and then there's like there's big cameras aside. So like there's Black Magic, Red, and I'd say Alexa's kind of the Lamborghini Countach or whatever
Yeah.
and those ones usually get really expensive. Like the most expensive Red, the cheapest Alexa is usually the same price. So but Red is
Yeah.
used a lot by the big film industry. Like just it's standard, I think. So you can definitely see a lot of films filmed on that.
I know Swamp Dog Armory, his stuff is filmed on a red camera, the 3D stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He uses a red.
The red hydrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they came out with the hydrogen. I'm not too familiar with it, but I remember he's actually mentioning it. They were offering a discount for people who own the hydrogen when they buy their Komodo, so you can get like $100 or $1,000 off or something. Yeah, I think they've discontinued the hydrogen, but it was kind of like the Red cell phone, but it had like a really good camera and like it was totally kitted out.
Yeah, one thing about red is
For cell phones.
one thing about red is when you buy a red camera, you get the red camera. You don't get anything else with it.
Yeah, you got to go and buy all the stuff that needs to be put on it, so you end up spending a bunch of money there too. It's pricey.
Oh, it gets very pricey because you get the camera and it's like, well, how do I power it? Well, it doesn't come with anything that you power it. You
Yeah.
got to buy that.
These batteries.
You got to buy this. You got to buy that. You got to buy a lens. You got to buy this.
Oh, yeah, you might want a tripod that's good too, because then your camera's a little heavier. Not that heavy with the red mode, but
Yeah. I don't know why Red does that.
it's most of the production quality. The bigger cameras start doing that. Even like Blackmagic, like you get just the body, and then if you want like handles for your shoulder mount type, you got to start paying for that. And then like if you want an eyepiece to look through rather than a monitor, you got to pay for that. So it's just like all starts adding up. The accessories just prices increase. It's like guns. You buy accessories and they're expensive. Like you can buy a Geisley trigger and it's like $240. It's like
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So it's similar to any other hobby. Accessories always end up costing a lot more, and
Yeah. The dedicated 3D camera that he got from Red, that Swamp Dog Armory got from Red, was also discontinued.
yeah. I hope they don't discontinue the Komodo, but I don't think they will because it's very popular and a lot of people are using it. So I think it's going to be a one they're going to keep doing more of. Have another iteration, because that's kind of what they've done with their other Reds is they've gone through these different iterations where they upgrade the computer inside or the sensor and stuff like that.
They're like what is it, like between $7,000, I guess.
So you can get it for 6,000. I think it's like 5,995 or something for the black Komodo. But if you buy the Stormtrooper, it's like I think it was $1,000 more. And
What's the difference?
It's white. You also get it earlier. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, they use Canon lenses too, right?
yes, they actually went with the RF mount, which is the new mount that Canon has started to do on their mirrorless cameras. And you can put an adapter on to use the old EF mount, which is the old Canon lenses, but those are all Canon. But the cool thing is with RF is you can convert to EF or to PL or to whatever other mounts that are out there. So you can use pretty much any lens. You just have to get the right converter.
Yeah, I have a mirrorless camera with an RF, and I have an EF adapter that I use a lot.
Yep. And then the cool thing is also with that is that you have like the converter can also have ND filters on it. And if you're familiar with ND filters, when it's too bright outside, you can just throw those on and you don't have to put like a separate ND on your lens.
Yeah, when it
People now, people might not want to hear about that.
yeah when I bought like my from my mirrorless camera with the RF, I was like, man, I got all these EF lenses.
Yep.
So
Well, luckily, you can still use them.
yeah, luckily I could still use them. So just through adapter, and most of the time I just shoot with an adapter on there, just because I don't want to buy a bunch of new RF lenses.
Mhm. Yeah.
What type of advice can you give people who want to make a movie or do a screenplay?
Like actually make a film?
Yeah, or write a screenplay.
Write a screenwriting. So I would recommend a book called Save the Cat. And if you read that book, it'll give you a good idea of what a good screenplay includes. Kind of will give you an outline. And then I don't think you should ever follow an outline completely because then it becomes canned and it's very obvious to the trained eye when your story's going someplace and then it's about to go elsewhere. And it's easy to figure out. For your typical audience, it probably works fine. For me, I usually notice exactly what's going to happen if they're using a canned formula. So I like to write creatively and also come up with something that's a little bit different than what the normal canned thing is that Hollywood's using with a lot of their films. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with all the Marvel films. They usually follow a very typical story arc. Like it's always the same. It's very annoying.
Yeah, but Marvel, I mean, why change a formula when you can turn on a movie every couple months to make $1 billion?
Exactly. I mean, at some point, you're aimed at an audience that makes you money, and they don't care about that stuff. And then you've got your audience that's like a little bit more versed in filmmaking that they're like, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen, and they kind of get bothered by it, which would be like probably my demographic. But most of the time, they're making tons of money off those films. So
yeah, Kevin Feige looks at it and was like, "Oh, I should change it. Oh, it's not like I make $1 billion per movie."
Yeah, no, they're in the money making industry. Like that's what they're there for. And if they're having success with it, then they're going to continue to do it, and that's why they keep making more Marvel films. It's like the cowboy films that they used to make back in the day. You know, the spaghetti westerns. Like there was a ton of those, and then at some point those stopped working, and then they just died off. So I figure at some point Marvel is going to have to switch it up because I think those comic book movies will either people will get tired of them or something will happen. That's just my prediction. But
well, here's the thing. This is something interesting because I follow all this stuff. DC was going to do a shared universe, and then they decided a shared universe wouldn't work because they said once we get up around like 20 films, who's going to watch 20 films to be able to understand what's going to happen in a film? So they decided not to do it. And so Marvel tried it, and guess what? They found out people will watch 20 films to figure out what's going to happen.
Marvel's done a really good job with like making solid films. DC has tried to make solid films, and I think the only one that was like really good was Wonder Woman, the first one. The second one, I feel like it kind of failed on the storytelling. Like the story wasn't as good as the first one. There was just some flaw in it because it didn't work as well. Aquaman was okay, I think, but like and Zack Snyder's cut was a little bit better. I liked it a little bit better, but yeah, DC's kind of flopped a little bit with their, superhero films.
Well, I think part of the problem is that Marvel Kevin Feige has the final say. So you have one guy over the whole thing. So you have a single person that has a final say over whatever happens in the movie. He doesn't write the movies, but he can veto a movie or tell somebody to rewrite it or whatnot. DC, Warner Brothers, they use a boardroom approach. We have all these different people putting input in.
So you have more control. Each filmmaker has more control over what happens in their film.
Yeah. So what I think happens is, since you have different filmmakers, they take different stances, and you don't have one guy who is like the overall god of that universe.
Yep. I would agree somewhat with that.
So you have like a constant theme and a
Yeah,
constant
you really need someone like that, though, because when you have that many films, it kind of becomes like a series. And usually TV series they have like a
showrunner.
The showrunner who's in charge of it. And so you got directors on each episode, but you got a showrunner who's like, coordinating everything. So I feel like DC, that probably would have been a good thing if they had done that,
Yeah, and I think that's why their stuff doesn't really work as well. Because like what are you saying? Like the Wonder Woman has a different feeling from like the, Superman movies that have a different feeling from the Batman movies, have a different feeling from the Justice League movies. They all feel different. Although the Zack Snyder cut is a lot better.
Yeah, I liked it better. I felt like it felt like a DC film.
Yeah, Swamp Dog brings up the DC animated films, which are awesome, but they have a single showrunner for the animated films. So I don't know why they didn't do it for the actual live action films.
Right.
So who is some of your inspirations in the filmmaking world?
Let's see. I like the Coen brothers, like Tarantino, James Cameron. Some of my favorite films are from James Cameron, like Terminator, Aliens. Like a lot of his stuff is just awesome to me. Who else? John Krasinski's done some pretty cool stuff with like A Quiet Place. I don't know, I watched the second one recently. Oh, what's up, Rob?
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg. He hasn't a lot of like even like Michael Bay. He started to produce a lot of stuff. Like a lot of these directors that we're very familiar with, they've actually started producing a lot of films now. So you'll see their names in producing credits and not in the directing credits, but they're still involved. Like producers are very heavily involved with films. So we're still seeing a lot of those guys. Like Quiet Place 2. I was surprised to see Michael Bay's name on it because it's like no explosions in it. But he's been busy. Michael Bay's cool. I think he's a inspiring filmmaker because he likes to go and get involved. If you ever watch BTS or behind the scenes footage, you'll see him with the camera and like shooting stuff, or he's like, doing whatever that needs to be done to tell the story. And I think that's like kind of cool to see a filmmaker do that rather than some filmmaker that just says, I'm the director and sits over there and watches the monitor. Like, I think it's cool when they're willing to get dirty, like, and get to work because it just shows their commitment and everything.
Yeah, I saw some behind the scenes of the Michael Bay of 13 Hours. And he was up on a crane actually behind the camera.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't
filming.
He's actually very involved. There was Songbird. I don't know. That was the one they filmed during COVID. I saw a BTS on Red's YouTube where he's in so they used like a wheelchair kind of thing to sit in, and he's the one holding the camera as someone's pushing him along, chasing after the lead talent down in this hallway. And it's like, cool, dude. He gets down dirty. He doesn't just sit there and watch.
All right, let's get to some of the questions out there. What is some of your advice on filming a fight scene?
Oh, filming a fight scene. Honestly, go and do it. That's my biggest advice. Go and watch some YouTube videos on like Film Riot. They've got a ton of stuff on choreographed fight scenes, and then watch more, and then write your script and figure out like pre-plan what you want to do when you're going to film it, and then go film it. Because when you go and film it, you're going to run into a bunch of stuff that's either good ideas or things that make it really difficult, and those things are what are going to teach you. So when you go to your next film, you know how to do it even better. And so, realistically, the best way to become a good filmmaker is to go out and film and film and film and film, and you learn a lot of stuff along the way that allows you to be better. Like, there's no other way. I know you can go and read about it, but there's stuff you just always run into that's like gotchas that you have to experience it.
Rob
Get
said
NFL players in your movie.
NFL player.
Yeah, understanding like depth and stuff. I mean, for like punches, so you can make it look like a real punch, but they're not even anywhere close to talent. Like that stuff's important. Yeah.
What's your favorite filming location?
Oh, filming location. I've really enjoyed filming outdoors. It's easy to find locations, and you don't have to go and get someone's like permission to film there. Like only if you're going to go film on like BLM's land, you have to get like a permit. So you go and get permission from BLM or like from the Forest Services. But like you don't have to go to some person's house and be like, "Hey, can we film in your house?" You know, like that sort of thing. So um, I like shooting outdoors. It just makes it a little bit easier, and it's also just naturally beautiful. It's there. You don't have to do anything to set it up. And you can't film everything like that, but like if you set your film in the outdoors, it makes it easy though. So,
Plus, you have a natural light source.
yeah, that's the other thing. You're gonna have to worry about the sun when you're filming outdoors, and so you have to pay attention to where that sun starts and where it ends during the day because it's going to change like very drastically over the day where the shadows are and stuff. So
Yeah, I don't think a lot. I mean, a lot of people. Well, people in the film industry do think about that, but I don't think a lot of people not in
yeah.
the film industry think about how hard that is.
Rob says we don't need permits. It's true. You can totally guerrilla it and do it without permits, but someone could technically come after you. Like there's legalities to it and stuff. So you usually want to try and get permits if you're being serious. So good
Yeah,
deal.
I saw one person mention how they film a lot of the scenes in The Mandalorian. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what
Oh
they
yeah, I've
do.
watched the BTS where it's like all on a stage and it's got videos and it like it's all like
Yeah, they don't use green screens.
no, it's like actual Unreal Engine or type graphic that moves with camera and stuff. So like it keeps the background or whatever. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. They
Crazy.
used to back in the old days, they would film with like when they wouldn't use green screens or they would do like a projection screen behind the people. And
That's
now
actually
they're doing that again.
yeah. It's really effective actually. If you're ever doing like a car scene, driving and doing a car scene is really dangerous actually. But you could actually use a projector, film footage of driving or download some footage, and then you just project it on a wall. And then like you're filming in the car and it looks like you're actually driving. The actors just have to kind of move with it. And then since you have a projector, it also bounces light. So you're getting some of that light spill from those colors from the outside. So it actually works really well. When you're green screening it, you get a green uh, fill of light when light bounces off of it. So you're not getting the colors that are coming whipping by as you're driving. So I think projectors are awesome for that like sort of stuff. Just
Yeah, it is. One of my favorite movies is Bullet. And one of the things they did really well, and I don't know, have you ever seen Bullet?
bullet. I'll have to
It
look it
was
up.
it had like one of the best car chase scenes ever with the green Mustang.
96,
No, it was an old movie.
older than 96.
Oh yeah, it was like with Steve McQueen, I think it was.
Oh man, I don't think I've seen it. But that
Oh
was real driving, or was it projector?
no, it was real driving. But one of the things that they did really really well in the movie is their sound guy was awesome.
hmm
So he like did like the actual like rev matching of the car and stuff like that. So if you're a car guy, a lot
hmm
of times in movies you see something like a car chase scene
It's not
and
exactly matching.
no, it's not. It's like no, the movie from 1968.
Nice.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's spelled Bullitt, so not like a bullet. And it-
There
oops,
it is.
and the um, but the cars chasing, they did a really good job on sound. So that brings me to my question: do you think sound is something that people don't think about when they think about movies, but it's something very important?
Oh, for sure. You'll notice bad sound before you notice bad video. like, like that's one thing people will be like, "This movie sucks," and it's because of the sound sometimes. Just like
Yeah,
it could be bad post sound, or well, usually it's bad post sound if like it sounds bad because it's to some extent like someone can clean it up in post. You know, the mixing and leveling need to be right so that certain sounds are louder than others, and like that you can pick up voices or whatever it is you need to be listening to as an audience better. And most indie productions, when they haven't figured that out, that's one of the things you notice all the time with indie films is that oh, the sound's not very good. And I'm talking like indie films that you see on YouTube that aren't actually on like not like feature films being sold because those usually have people that know what they're doing and their sound's usually generally good. So. But
yeah.
sound, some people would say sound is more important than the actual quality of video.
Well, you definitely do notice it more.
Yeah. You give someone a bad video with good sound, they'll probably watch it all the way through. But you give someone a really crisp, nice looking video with really bad sound, they won't want to watch it. It's just going to irritate them.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I think people overlook when it comes to filmmaking. What are some of the other things that people overlook that make or break a film that people don't think about?
Oh, what else? Um,
Did you say you needed a gorilla for filmmaking?
know it. Gorillas all the time. uh, what would make or break a film? I would say you need people who are going to see it all the way through. That's the other thing that a lot of the time stops a film from completing is people who just don't finish the edit. They film it and then like they have everything done, and then like they just never go and or they start to edit it and then they're like upset that it's not the vision that they thought they had when they were making it, and so they're not happy with it, and so they shelve it. They just don't finish it. Like I think there's a lot of people that do that, and I think you need to finish it, even if it's not what you thought it was going to be, and still make it good. Just because it makes you a better filmmaker completing things. If you're always the person who just like gives up because it didn't turn out how you thought it would, then you're going to always have projects like that, and then you're like inconsistent. And if someone wants to hire you, like why would they hire someone who's inconsistent? Like that's a bad investment. So
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying. Um, for like the and post is for people who don't know, post is basically when everything is filmed and you're like doing the editing and everything else like that. And that usually takes a lot longer than the filming.
yep.
What's like the ratio do you think to filming to actually doing the edits?
So depending on well, for instance, our shooting schedule, we started in October and we finished around I think it was like March or something, like close to March. That's a fairly lengthy shooting schedule, but we were shooting weekends a lot of the time because a lot of us have day jobs, and so we couldn't shoot during the week. And then like we took some PTO as well, paid time off, um, and shot this over that long period of time. Normally, like they'll shoot a film in like a month or month to 3 months, and that's like done. We've done it like maybe 6 months, but our post is probably going to be close to that or less, I would hope. So
Are you doing the edits yourself, or do you have someone doing the edits?
I am doing it myself because I've done most of the stuff previously myself, and so I feel confident in myself. I don't have an editor who I can say this guy will get it done right. And it's also extremely expensive to pay someone to do that because editing is very time consuming, as you mentioned. And so most people who aren't passionate enough, they can actually getting stuff done is important. There's a lot of people who will hire an editor. The editor is busy working on paid projects, and then he has like this passion project that's kind of on the back burner. And that's the other reason it doesn't get done is because he's doing the paid work because that pays his bills. Your stuff is sort of like, he may not be super passionate about it, but like you get the person who made the film, like who wrote it and directed it, he's going to be very passionate and want to finish it. So like that's why I'm editing it because I know I'll get it done. If I pass it to someone else, then like it's probably going to sit on someone's computer and just sit there. So.
Yeah, I have a friend that does like documentary filmmaking, and he doesn't edit any of his own films, but he
Editor.
pays.
Yeah, if he's paying the editor too, that's going to make it so that the editor is working like on that project, full time.
Yeah, well, he usually pays an editor. Well, they have their own editors, but I mean that's the guy's job.
Yep.
So it's not like, hey, this is a passion project.
As soon as there's a budget, I would likely find someone who's a capable editor, and when I say budget, like something closer to what Hollywood has, not like,
Do you have any other film projects in mind that you want to do?
There are. Rob has one that he's been writing that's in that vein of.
Rob, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, Rob, do you want to talk about this? I don't know.
Yeah.
Rob has a script. It's maybe we shouldn't mention it because then someone might take it. But it's like
Boxcar.
There you go, Boxcar. He would be able to pitch it better because he has a better idea what it is. I kind of have a basic idea. It's like kind of a tactical post-apocalyptic. I want to say it's post-apocalyptic, but it's more like, yeah, he's got a pre-script, but
yeah, well, you can register.
He's working on something. He's working on it. Like there are other ideas, and then there's also I've got that series that I started a while back. That those I've got more episodes written that I want to film as well. Like I was planning on shooting some of those before COVID, and then kind of had to halt.
See, I come from the book world. I'm an Amazon best-selling author.
Oh.
But I've never written a like a script. Red Dawn meets Gray Street meets Michael Collins. Okay, interesting. I might want to try to
read that book. Read Save the Cat. It'll like give you a lot of information about script writing in a small book. It's like, is it like 100 something pages or so? I forget. It's like it's not too long, but it teaches a lot of good amount of like good concepts, and then like some basic ways that films are made all the time, like genres, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to push myself a little bit. I got Amazon has this like novella thing that they're coming out with that I'm part of. So they want me to write like a 5-series novella type thing.
Okay.
For their launch for the Amazon, I guess their Kindle Prime thing.
Nice.
But they want me to write it, but they haven't. But I haven't really came up with any ideas, so I haven't really agreed to do it yet until I decide if I can come up with something or not. Special K Pinoy says, "What do you think of the car chase scene in the sequence in Extraction?" I don't know if you've seen that movie. Good movie.
Extraction was the one with Chris Hemsworth, wasn't it? That was like an insane, very well done, like one take, wasn't it? That was this.
Yeah, it was one take.
Yeah, I think there was probably some cuts in it, but it looked like a one take. Um, I want to say this doesn't he fall off at some point, and there's a swap of actors as the stunt actor falls,
Yeah,
and so they had to have cut somewhere.
they had to cut, but they
Yeah,
filmed it like a one take.
yeah. One takes usually have some cuts there, but they're all hidden. They're all invisible. Like you don't see the cuts, but they're there. But no, that was an insane, very cool, well done uh, car chase scene. I thought it was awesome. I remember seeing some BTS, but I don't remember what the specifics were of the BTS. But it was a really cool BTS video of that. So
I knew they filmed it like a one take where it wasn't really a cut, but somehow they switched. Cause there's a BTS beyond.
where's this?
Beyond
Swaps the
Saints.
camera to someone or something? I know there's
Yeah,
passing off of cameras
yeah,
and all that stuff
yeah,
happened during that, which is insane.
yeah. So it wasn't really a cut, but it was.
No,
You know, he
I
ducked
would
out of the
consider that
way.
a cut.
Another guy comes up.
Yeah,
You know,
there's some
um,
crazy
I don't know why they did.
cameraman maneuvers that they do in film, like that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I know they were saying they wanted to push themselves and try to do it in a way it's never been done before.
Hmm.
Um,
And they did. I think they did some really cool stuff with it. So like anyone who watches that is glued to it the whole time. It's just it was just fun to watch it. So
yeah. So, are you guys gonna work on and film Rob's vision?
we plan to. That's the goal. He's got his idea for a script. It's going to definitely need a bigger budget than Permafrost, and so we're going to have to also possibly do some crowdfunding or something to get that rolling, or find someone who's like an investor that's just like, there's some money. But yeah,
Yeah, that's the hard part. Movies are not cheap to make.
no, they're expensive, especially when done right. They're expensive. So,
Although they're getting more affordable.
yeah, you can do them without having to spend a lot of money, but then like you're usually spending a lot of energy and time of people, and that gets expended as well at some point. Like if you've got friends who are helping on set, at some point they might be like, "Hey, I've got to do this gig over here because I need money." Um,
I'll do a cameo. Oh yeah.
yeah, he needs a cameo. Yeah,
Never been in a movie.
yeah. So there's plans for that. I see that us doing a lot of other stuff, and it'll be kind of in the similar genre of either prepping or post-apocalyptic to some extent. I don't think we're going to go and do like some sort of romance or something.
Yeah. My cousin was a producer on Arrested Development,
Hmm.
but didn't really like Hollywood. So she moved back
Yeah,
to Wisconsin.
yeah. I think like I mean, it can be sort of fun to make some of those films, but you have to make what you love to make. Otherwise, you get burnt out, or you just don't have the desire to do it. And that's kind of like my thing. It's like I want to be making what I enjoy to watch. Otherwise, like all this work that I'm putting into it, it's going to burn me out, and I'm not going to want to do it anymore. So, like, I want to do what I love, and so what I'm passionate about. So,
All right. Any timeline before we will see Permafrost?
like I said, if we go to Sundance, it might delay it, but I would hope that we can have it by winter. But the thing is, Sundance is usually January, so the goal would be Sundance bromance. Hey, bromance is okay because you could do a tactical post-apocalyptic action film with romance in it, like no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think post-apocalyptic the movie genre is getting old?
I don't think it's getting old just yet.
That's from the
those
audience, by the way.
zombies are getting old. I think The Walking Dead is going to die soon. Or
There's only one more season.
yeah, they've already kind of killed it because zombies have kind of fallen off the.
Although they have like 2 other spinoffs, and they're about to do a third spinoff, and then they're doing 3 movies. So They're not.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like zombies isn't as viral as it was before. I mean, like they had tons of people watching The Walking Dead initially, and then it kind of lost a lot of that initial crowd, and now it's kind of a steady, like this is your audience. But in terms of like the question, is post-apocalyptic dead? I would say no, and my example would be like Quiet Place, that just came out. It did really well at theaters during COVID as well. I mean, it's kind of post-COVID, but it's still kind of COVID. But that's a post-apocalyptic film, The Quiet Place. It's the world's ended because of some sort of alien invasion. Blah blah blah. No spoilers, but I think there's still plenty of stories to tell where the world. I mean, well, another example is that Chris Pratt one that's coming out on Amazon Prime. I mean, they're still releasing lots of different.
Which one's that?
What was it called? Shoot, I just saw.
Chris Pratt is the man.
Yeah, it was like called Tomorrow World or something. World. What is it called? Right here.
Yeah, Chris Pratt is actually.
Yeah, the Tomorrow War. Tomorrow War is what it's called.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That one's very post-apocalyptic. It's somewhat sci-fi at the same time, but I think post-apocalyptic is very sci-fi in itself, just not as techy. That one's a little bit.
That comes out soon, right?
Yeah, it comes out I think this month.
No, I think it's next month. I think it's.
Is it July? Okay,
July. I think it's like July 4th weekend. I think it's like the 2nd.
Oh, that would be a good time to do that. Yeah. So I mean, I see plenty of room for. Yeah, it says July 2nd. Plenty of room for post-apocalyptic films to do well. Like sci-fi, I think doesn't do as well lately. I don't understand why that yet. But if you mix it with post-apocalyptic, it's been doing better. Just if you look at like box office stuff.
All right. Well, we've been on for over an hour talking about this. What a lot of people don't realize is filmmaking and films. Even though I've never made a film, I made a short film one time, but that was
cool.
I had to rent all the cameras and stuff. It was just for me to make, and then I never really did anything with it. I just wanted to make it, so I got actors together, hired actors, rented cameras, got a sound guy, filmed it, and I'm like, all right, I did it, edited it, did it. I filmed it, screened it one time at my house, and I was like, all right, I've done it.
Right. It's a lot of work. That's why I say like you have to do what you love, otherwise it's gonna just be like never doing that again. So.
Yeah, well, no, I do want to do it again. That's the whole thing.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
I mean, well, you must have been doing something you love.
Yeah. Because motel rooms don't count. All right. Great show. I need a gorilla for a film. John has my. If you need a gorilla for a film, Gorillas and Guns is willing to do it.
They've got gorillas.
Gorillas. No, he doesn't have gorilla. He is a gorilla.
Oh, he is a gorilla. Gotcha.
His nickname is Silverback. He does a bunch of gun stuff on YouTube. All right.
Cool.
So tell people where they can find information out about your movie, Lenny.
All right. So if you're familiar with IMDb, you can find it there. It's Permafrost. And then if you want to follow us on Instagram, there's permafrost.movie. That one will have pictures as well as announcements when like we released our trailer on there. And then the other place that I put trailers out is on the Zealot Film.
Yeah, I know. I've been hit up. When we go live, it's supposed to send out a notification. It didn't send out a notification today. All right.
So I mean, there's that place as well. You can go to the Facebook page, which is permafrost.movie, I believe. Double check. And if you follow that, you can also be alerted when new stuff gets put up. And then also there's the website, permafrostmovie.com, and you can sign up for the email list, which then you'll get direct emails of when stuff's coming out and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That would also be the best place.
You're gonna have to send me a special secret link when you have the movie done.
Okay, I will.
Hey,
definitely.
Sony does.
What's that?
Sony sends me links for movies.
Oh, nice. Well, I will send you one. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't know why they do. They just somehow got on some list, and I get these like movies where you sign in to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm supposed to be reviewing them, but I just watch them. I have no idea. I'm not a movie reviewer, but I reviewed one movie for them, which was I don't know, the old movie Sniper. They did a sequel to it. So I reviewed that movie for them, and so now I get all like these advanced links. So I just watch all these Sony movies.
Nice. Did you see the new Venom?
No, I haven't got that.
I was about to say that's pretty nice.
Yeah, but it's interesting, and I'm not really sure why that happened.
Right.
Hi, Mr. FNH. Yeah, YouTube usually sends out a notification when I go live. My viewer count was kind of low today, and I couldn't figure out why until people started hitting me up. And for some reason, the notification didn't go out to everyone.
That's no fun.
But yeah,
Well,
but it went out now, and that's why we're seeing people come in now. But
are they gonna be able to watch like a?
They're going to be able to watch the replay. So if you just come in now, you can see the replay. I have no idea what was going on with YouTube. It must have been some type of error. So watch the replay, because I'm not doing this again. I give you 1 hour a day, and that is it, people. On this. All right. My name is John Crump. You can follow me at crumpy.com. Be sure to check out my news channel where I do gun news and news of the day at John Crump News. And with that said, I guess we are done for the day. Thank you guys. And I'll be back tomorrow with Walt Anderson.